This man was declared dead, but 7 hours later every doctor was shocked. In a small village in India lived a humble man named Shankar. He worked as a motor rickshaw driver to support his wife and 2 children. Life was not luxurious, but Shankar was known as a hardworking man who never gave up. But one stormy night, tragedy struck. On his way home, his rickshaw was hit by a truck coming from the opposite direction. Locals rushed to help and brought him to the nearest hospital. His condition was terrible. His body covered in wounds, his head bleeding, and his breathing almost gone. The doctors and medical team fought for nearly 2 hours. They gave repeated electric shocks, used a ventilator, and tried every possible way to save him. But slowly, the heart monitor showed a flat line. One of the doctors whispered, "We've lost him." His family cried uncontrollably. His wife fainted in a nurse's arms. Finally, Shankar's body was taken to the morgue. He was placed in a black body bag and stored in the cold chamber. For everyone, Shankar's story ended that night. Time passed. Hours went by. The hospital staff stayed busy with other patients, while the morgue remained silent. But around 7 hours later, something strange happened. A staff member, while checking another body, heard a faint sound, like a soft moan. At first, he thought it was just the hum of the cooling system. But when he moved closer, the sound came again. With shaking hands, he unzipped one of the body bags and nearly collapsed. Shankar was moving. His chest was rising and falling slightly, as if he was struggling to breathe again. The staff panicked but quickly called the doctors. The entire medical team rushed in. When they checked, Shankar's heart was beating again, weak but real. The doctors couldn't believe what they were witnessing. How could a man who had been declared dead and kept in a morgue for hours come back to life? Later, this phenomenon was identified as Lazarus syndrome, a rare condition where someone revives hours after total cardiac arrest. Only a handful of such cases have ever been recorded worldwide. Shankar was immediately moved to the ICU. Days turned into weeks as he lay hooked up to tubes and machines. His family, who had already accepted his death, now had new hope. His children prayed every night for their father's full recovery. But when Shankar finally regained consciousness, he was no longer the same. His memory was broken. He didn't recognize his wife. He couldn't even recall his own name. The doctors explained that his brain had been deprived of oxygen for too long, causing permanent damage to some brain cells. For his family, it felt like he was alive, but not truly the Shankar they once knew. Still, his wife refused to give up. Every day, she sat by his bedside, telling him stories about their childhood, their children, and the rickshaw they once bought together. Miraculously, little by little, Shankar began to respond. From blank stares, he slowly managed to utter a few words. Months passed. His memories started returning, piece by piece. Until one day, he looked at his wife and whispered, "I remember, you always put extra sugar in my tea." His wife broke down in tears. That small memory was a sign. Her husband was truly coming back. A year after the incident, Shankar could walk again, though with the help of a cane. He even returned to pedaling his rickshaw, his body weaker, but his spirit stronger than ever. People in his village began calling him the man who lived twice. His story spread across media, drawing the attention of doctors and scientists who studied Lazarus syndrome. But for Shankar, the greatest miracle was not just coming back from death. It was being given a second chance to love his family more deeply than ever before. Life teaches us that miracles can happen when we least expect them. Death is not always the end, and sometimes God opens a path back that defies all logic. As Albert Einstein once said, "There are only two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle."